is running. The broadcast is running, and you can stream. You can stream for up to 8 hours. 8 hours. But what if you want to stream for longer than 8 hours? Then what do you do? Then what the hell do you do, right? Well, hello. As you can see, I have a different setup to you, my dear viewers, my dear and perhaps not as sparse viewers, because I edited the tag somewhat. And I'm hopeful, for your sake as well as mine, think of this as a kind of therapy that you're helping me to provide to myself, right? I am I'm announcing here that these live streams are going to become a lot more regular. I don't have any particular schedule as of yet, but they're going to be more regular. As you can see, I've changed the setup. I even have the camera on professional tripod shape. But yeah, it's a semi-professional tripod. I haven't really looked at its its resume, but yes. So before we get to the heart, we get to the meat of the topic, and this is going to be a single topic. No digressions here. I'm going to talk about the stream, the live stream that I was hoping to have. Right? I actually, not that this is a great feat, but it's rather unusual. And I had a guest, or a to-be guest. And I'm going to stand closer. I just remembered that I'm using a different mic. So unless I might change the setup a little bit. I see what I'm going to do. I'm going to be present, but I'm going to change the mic setup. It's so interesting for you. The mic setup. I have the at present we only have one. This is just, what do you call this? This is dead air. There's another word that people use for it. Radio off time or something. So what I will do, I'm going to switch over the to the now we have this. Now, the reason a little bit of detail, I've had a bit of criticism that I don't think stands. And the criticism was somebody viewed a very small portion of one of my videos, and he said, "Oh, all you were doing was talking about your beard." The thing is, the reason I was using the webcam mic is because I want these things get in the way of the image. Anyway, I was supposed to be talking to a person who calls himself on YouTube That Libertarian Chap. I was supposed to be, and I can say in this case that not surprisingly, that it was technical issues that stopped us. We tried again, and I had. Well, we had discussed this many months ago, and it didn't turn into anything because of technical issues. I was connected to Google Hangouts and everything, and he appeared in the Hangout. Couldn't hear him. He could hear me. Couldn't see his camera. I don't know what happened. I asked him. Well, I asked him the person in question, are you using Windows? I don't know whether or not I asked him directly whether he was using a Mac. Because as you know, Mac users are very they can be sensitive about their they can be very sensitive about their fashion item that is the fashion item posing as a tech brand, a form of technology. Of course, I'm certain if you are a Mac user and you're happy with it, then all power to you. If you wish to spend twice the amount of money for what is, in many cases inferior tech, all power to you. If you like that, if you want a piece of machinery that's a fashion item, which we all, it is. Be honest, and don't say you're using it. Don't say you're using it because you are against the corporate monsters. Because if you were against the corporate monsters, you'd be using something. You'd be using Linux. Of course, I think you can use Linux with Mac tech. But you'd be using a Mac with Linux, right? I'm going to put some. I'm going to my pronunciation will be somewhat impaired by this. Well, I've got to do this. I've got to put in my tobacco-based products, otherwise known, though improperly described as snuff. There isn't snuff. I don't inhale it. I've done my fair share of sneezing today, and I'm not going to go into whether or not I'm coming down with a cold. So I was booked to talk about, to let this person, Rick Story, that's his name. I remembered his real name, not his YouTube name, Rick Story. And it didn't happen. I think he got rather irritated. He isn't answering my messages. So in the meantime, until there is a more satisfactory guest, I will get on with this stream. In case I didn't mention, this is it's something of a test stream. But unlike some of the streams, the live streams, there's a topic. Now, I'm just going to check the viewer count. There's currently no viewers, but I don't care because this will all be recorded. Right. Get back on topic. I've noticed something lately, as you may too. It depends on, in the realm of media and stuff, right? It may just be I have this brought to my attention because of the certain algorithms, the analytics. What are analytics? Right, okay. Everything you purchase and view online is data, unless you have a VPN. You have your internet activity has been hermetically sealed by a VPN. Then they won't know so much about you. But to use websites, you have to accept cookies and such. And cookies are these little nasty little programs that look at everything that you're observing, and they get a picture of you. There's actually a very interesting, stay on topic, there's a very interesting use of this rather clandestine thing called the internet cookie in the sci-fi film Deus Ex Machina, which is about a pretty robot. But interestingly, okay, so this may spoil parts of the film, though not much. It's about this artificially intelligent creature that looks like a pretty woman. And at one point, the test subject, the human who's on this island with this mad professor, who's built this robot, asks a question: How did you come up with her appearance? And it's this question pops up because the young scientist, techie person who is a test subject is a person who's been invited to the island under false pretenses. he discovers that it really was that it wasn't exactly random. The invitation. It wasn't like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. We get this. You find this random golden ticket. He was actually taken. He was actually selected using a very sophisticated data collection protocol. Wow, I don't think I've ever said the word protocol before. Well, but it always comes to pass. Always comes to light. That's the robot's appearance. I say robots. It's an artificially intelligent organism. Rather, it's not a robot. It isn't led by a remote control. It has its own personality, its own intelligence, and so it's suggested that it's a superior life form. Superior life form. This artificially intelligent robot woman, played by a Swedish actress called someone the other Vikander, very pretty actress. It comes to light, and the test subject, human boy, isn't very happy about this when he discovers that her appearance was compiled as a composite of derived from his porn viewing activities. On that note, it makes you wonder if you ever happen to have looked at certain websites of a pornographic nature, how they do load slower than most things. Could it be that they are collecting more information on people than you would, considering that pornography is not in my household, but I mean worldwide, in the worldwide household, in the global community. It is the most viewed, the most downloaded. It is the lifeblood of the World Wide Web. Even in China, even in countries that have sparse, very restricted internet access, in countries where it is legal to view pornography that doesn't have, unless it's that has pixelated censorship, so genitals will be pixelated out. But in countries where genitals will be pixelated out, but tentacles performing rape and other nasty, lascivious acts will not be pixelated out. Murder will not be pixelated out. Beheadings won't be pixelated out. But an arsehole will not be pixelated out. But genitals, which we all have, most humans have, will be pixelated out. So they've restricted internet access, in quotation marks. So they have pornography. Even people with a predisposition towards watching demon rape videos, they have pornography. Should I mention what I was watching earlier? Oh god, it was curious. That's for another thing. But anyway, what were we getting to? The topic at hand. We were digressing. Yes, okay. User statistics, internet protocols, and such. I get shoved in my YouTube feed many videos about aliens. So I know you're thinking things to do with alien contact. Why is this? Maybe a few reasons. I am curious. I am curious, and I have been for some time, about the prospects of extraterrestrial visitations to Earth. Because I have seen UFOs. I mean, that's quite literally. I've seen aircraft that are cannot be easily identifiable. Whether or not I was intoxicated at the time, I will leave that up to you to decide. I've seen very peculiar aircraft that do not fit any description, and no, I was not actually intoxicated. And I'm curious about things. They give me an uncomfortable feeling. I have heard the arguments as valid as they are. That's where we should not consider the idea that mankind has been visited by travelers from across the stars. The arguments against it are not particularly good. The people who concoct such arguments are highly the most intelligent people, among the most intelligent people on Earth. But that is no guarantee that the person's argument will be good. Calm down, Spartan, and compose, because I have an additional and extension to that particular point. So here's the idea that other forms of life, aliens, are. This is the statement one. Species, highly intelligent species with technology which we just assume is greater than ours. They are more intelligent than we are. That's one statement. The arguments, the argument is that given that even the solar system, the galaxy, is so vast, how would they find us, right? Because there's a logical way. What is the most seemingly, given what we know, given it's from our standpoint of technology with some projection. They're refuting the idea that spaceships would traverse the distance of the galaxy, the universe, the unknown sections, the uncharted parts of the cosmos, and they would arrive here. The logical way they would find that has been given, they would find this planet would be not to come in person, but to create a machine of some kind, a probe, not an anal probe. I need to point out an alien probe, but not an anal probe. And such a device, I suppose it is. If we're going to be technical, it will be this. They'll use the term nanotechnology. It's a machine that reproduces itself. And so again, there's another, and that will reproduce itself like, like a very infectious disease, and it will spread out. So you have a whole solar system full of robots, and they'll expand, and eventually they will find something that they find interesting. One robot will communicate with the next, or they will telegraph their position somehow or the other, and the aliens somewhere will find out. But even given that a machine could replicate itself at a very fast speed, and that the civilization that created this self-reproducing probe, is there any guarantee that that particular alien civilization would remain as long as the probe program is in action? the easy, or the most, you say, the using Occam's razor, you say it is not, we cannot see it as being likely. Though the idea of a probe that replicates itself is the most logical way, and it seems to be the only way, as far as we can project, that they would find us. But so it seems unlikely, and then you think about, well, you can't listen to the people who claim to have met these things as evidence. But these people who've experienced aliens, maybe they've had face-to-face claim to have had face-to-face contact with aliens, or very close contact with a UFO. They're called UFO experiences, right? Have you had that experience? So it seems, well, it's unlikely, and the people who are supposed to know, who are supposed to be the most open-minded about the prospect, the scientific elite, right? They don't seem to, they haven't heard the more ordinary accounts of alien, or most ordinary accounts by ordinary people who wouldn't announce it on YouTube. They wouldn't be part of documentaries, and in terms of UFO documentaries, I'm getting to that. They are open-minded to the prospects, but they'll say, well, it's not very likely. And as I was saying, they don't listen to the mundane person, the softly spoken, would rather not announce it to his neighbours' experience of such things. And when you hear those accounts for people who really, what they speak of isn't that elaborate, so not talking, most of them aren't talking about meeting green men. You begin to wonder, especially when you read accounts, you read documents, books, and such by people, those who are interested in this idea and had actually no financial target, they had no financial gain from publishing and researching such, because there was no buzz, there's no interest in that kind of thing. Science fiction at the time of the first, UFO investigations, right? Publicized investigations. Science fiction didn't even have a name. It was just another form of fiction. It was a rather derided form of fiction. It was also science fiction films. They weren't called science fiction films. The most you say, aliens, space aliens films. Excuse me, I'm going to have a drink. Now this might be interesting. It might explode. Right. There was no hoo-ha. There was no sensationalism, even though the films were sensational, and there was an audience. But the motivations for people investigating these things, finding the man on the street who may have experienced something a little bit odd, was not a financial goal. It wasn't a publicity goal. So the idea is, the concept of aliens coming from a great distance in person is seen as rather illogical. But I would say my interest and my curiosity and say a hope, rather I leave the option I'm not saying that I look forward to it, but the prospect is interesting. It's something that this is I personally have a hard time imagining that's anybody would experience aliens on another planet. The reason is they would keep themselves, they would either keep their existence secret, or they would just appear and just park up somewhere. For, there's nothing to fear from our technology, right? So, and their interest would be objective. They wouldn't wish to interfere. But the idea that they could have, that it's possible to, shoot towards the Earth isn't out of the question. And the arguments against it are dumb. They're very, very sophisticated, but in its essence are dumb, because it's there's an area of ignorance. We cannot contemplate what a race, perhaps millions of years in advance of our own, in terms of evolution, in terms of their own, modifications, we cannot imagine it. Given that area of ignorance, it's the argument against it is dumb. And what they really are arguing against are them uneducated people who claim to have experienced these things, and they could have. I'm leaving it very open. I'm very open to the idea that they could have experienced aliens. They could have met aliens. My hope is there. It's a deep curiosity. It's a curiosity, as I've said, and forgive me for repeating myself, I have had this interest for a long time. It is a great curiosity. It's a kind of morbid curiosity, because I do not necessarily think that it's a good thing for our planet, our human beings, to announce themselves to alien species. I really don't. I agree with the deceased Professor Hawking, that, Stephen Hawking, right? The guy with a robot voice. Sorry, excuse me. I agree with him that it's not a good idea. You shouldn't announce yourself. They should take a leaf of wisdom from Doctor Who. You shouldn't announce that you exist. You should hide. Flash Gordon, that's it. The movie Flash Gordon. If you knew the horrors that are lurking in the universe, you would hide in the corner, the dusky corner of your distant solar system or something. You would hide away. There must be nasty things. The idea is that just because, alien species that are warlike, are terrible, couldn't survive, they would just wipe themselves out. But you don't know that, so you do not understand xenopsychology, right? So idea one, aliens send all the little probes out, right? They discover the Earth, they discover humans. There's people moving around, they've built things, and they have some kind of technology. And it would be easy to find out what kind of technology they have to actually go in person. Or maybe they have a pledge they have to arrive in person. They have to watch over us. But then again, what if they don't track this idea of traveling from point A to point B? Is the only method we can conceive of. Of course, this idea of wormholes, opening a great gateway or such, that is a sideline. Oh, that's maybe possible. What if they exist in our locality? It's I don't necessarily. You could interpret that question as, what if there's an alien civilization on the moon? What I wish to suggest is, what if they always have been here? That they are a species that is on a different frequency to us. So that curiosity is burning inside me. So back to the analytics, and yes, I get a lot of UFO aliens type stuff, but lately there's a torrent, a tidal wave, a tsunami of alien disclosure videos, documentaries and such. And the most prominent and publicized of these is the Sirius documentary. Sirius documentary, which is, I believe, Sirius is a YouTube channel that contains this documentary, I believe. And the Sirius channel, I'll get into what the other stuff that it has. The main thing is, I've watched these interviews with this or that person who claims to have worked on alien stuff, to works on alien technology, to have dissected the scrotum of an xeno creature. These people are, the amount of detail that they go into is, well, I'd like to say it's very convincing. Their delivery is very convincing. Then you read between the lines. Well, the person who's behind these documentaries is a guy called Stephen Greer, and you just got to look up his background. He's a con artist. So many of them are con artists. And the so-called professionals who are coming out of the woodwork to talk about their work on hidden, secret, black projects, right? You begin to notice something in their delivery that is similar. Something in their eyes. They have this fearfulness. And I don't think this fearfulness, it has anything to do with, well, are they coming after me? Because their accounts state that they're not worried about that. They're not saying anything they shouldn't be. They are very similar people. They are exceptional storytellers. But there's a great similarity. There's a in terms of the psyche of the people. Some of them even look alike. They have the same shaped glasses, and you can say, well, that's the imprint of their employment. You know, people who work in a certain field, they have a certain manner. But it's one idea is that it's an act. Oh, it may be an act that they believe. The fact that the wall of yarn that the ball of yarn they're spinning, I think a number of them believe it themselves. It's a lie. Whether or not they know it's a lie, it's a fiction. And that upsets me a lot. I don't want to look into any of this anymore, because all you'll get within this area of ufology is fiction. The people get in these giving speeches and such are paid for it. It's a profession. It's a corner of show business. Another idea that I have, and this should be entertained, is that this wave of people talking about UFOs, disclosing stuff that they haven't seen. It's clandestine by its very nature. They're so very good at weaving these tales, these tall tales. That it's timely, that it's sophisticated, that it serves a different purpose. And what that purpose is, I will maybe come up with the answer at a later date. But I'll say thank you for watching, and good night.